There have been some Bluey the Movie leaks. It's worth noting this may not be completely accurate, and I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible. But firstly, the animation style is 3D. This is no spoiler, this has been announced for months, but I do think some people were a bit surprised by this. When they announced it, I was skeptical, and honestly I'm still not sure in my opinion. However, I think given it's in 3D, they have done a pretty good job. My main reservation is actually not having it in 2D, as it may have been nicer and been closer to the actual show, but as I said, if they're doing it in 3D, I don't think this is bad. Sorry, I'm not going to mention the potentially massive spoilers, but there are kind of some new characters of sorts. I'm trying to keep this as vague as possible, but Joe Brum did mention something about this in an interview a few years ago, that he was thinking when he first made Bluey he would do this, and then he decided against it. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just search up the spoilers, but it is quite big. He talked about Rad and Frisky's wedding in interviews years before the sign as well. Do I think it's legit? Not really. I'd be surprised if it was legit. There's quite a few inconsistencies. One, adding these characters would be a huge shift to the show, and I'm personally not really sure it would happen, or what the point would be. There's also one image with who I'm presuming is Auntie Brandy, unless it's another new character, and she looks tiny compared to the other characters. Like, the scaling just doesn't make sense. In that same image, text on a van and a sign appears but doesn't resemble anything. The animation style also appears to change from image to image, but that might just be concept art and then the actual 3D rendering. But, and I hate to do this, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was AI. I'm not necessarily saying it looks bad, and if this was the genuine thing, I wouldn't be too disappointed. But from a lot of the images, there are a few telltale signs of AI, so maybe it's a mix, and some of these are genuine, and some of them are genuinely AI. If this is genuinely spoilers, I'm also a bit frustrated with this. We saw it for The Amazing Digital Circus episode 9. Loads of people got it spoiled when they were trying desperately to avoid it. People shouldn't be spoiling it in the first place, but also if spoilers have been released, then obviously you get to decide whether you look at them or not. I did for this video because I wanted to make a video on it, but I've tried to keep this video as spoiler free as possible while still addressing the news of it potentially being spoiled. But if you do decide to go look at this potential spoiler, please don't tell others. If I see any spoilers, hesitate to delete any comments with spoilers in. This video is so rushed because I just wanted to get out, but last minute I decided to ask AI whether one of the images looked AI. Obviously this is never going to be completely accurate, but I thought it was worth a try. At first it just told me that there were no watermarks and that it wasn't made by that certain AI. But after I asked, does it look AI? Agreed and pointed out things that I hadn't noticed. So, quote, yes, looking closely at the details, this image is absolutely AI generated. The first thing it pointed out was that in the bottom right corners of this image, the text, which is the date, looks very mixed together and looks very AI in the way that I don't know how to describe it, but there's just a certain way that AI text looks, and it says that it's distorted, and yeah, it is. And then in the top bar of the characters, this image was of some of the models of the characters. It looks they look very mixed together and they lose their definition. I don't know if that's just the quality of the image, but I can kind of see what it means. And then it did mention something else, but I can't really mention it without giving spoilers, so I won't mention it. But overall, I think after all this evidence and just looking at it a bit closer and all of the details, etc., I think this is AI. I'm really glad it's AI. Well, I'm not glad it's AI. I don't think it's good. But overall, I'd rather it be AI than actual leaks, because I just think it's annoying how often shows are leaked. I don't think this will be the last leak hoax, or even potentially the last leak.
Zoe! Socks! Theo.
Leela.
Bluey Clan's Corner.
Please subscribe and watch another video.